And some people even told me, which shocked me, but some people told me they actually go back and sometimes listen to a part of the lesson that was maybe hard for them later on. Well, you know, yeah, if that works, that works. Bienvenidos y bienvenidas. That is welcome. Bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Me llamo. Uy, me llamo. Ooh, I got to get that in focus. Me llamo. Me llamo means my name is. I feel like a second grader with the name tag. Me llamo, or, you know, or I'm in a business. The hi, this is the name tag you get for business. It goes, hi, I'm, yeah. Or hi, my name is, okay. Hola, me llamo Marilyn, me llamo Marilyn. Me llamo Marilyn means my name is. Literally, it means I call myself. Would you ever walk up to somebody and say, I call myself Tom, Dick, or Harry? Of course you wouldn't. That is not normally how we express that idea in English, my name is. But me llamo does literally mean my name is. We would say my name is, but it literally means I call myself. You would say my name is. Me llamo. Me llamo Marilyn. Okay. Vamos a esta clase, esta clase es la primera clase. Es la primera clase. Necesitan este libro. Did everybody get this book yet?
Yes.
No, okay. Ooh, but you did get my pages, right, Padmini? Okay, bien. I will make sure, Padmini, that you get this. This doesn't come in. I don't know. Is this one of those supply issues? I do not know. I have other people who did manage to get it, so I cannot explain why we have these bizarre things happening with the book. But there is audio that goes with the book, para que sepan, so you know, because even if you don't have the book, I'll make sure you get the page numbers. Every time you see words in blue, en azul, palabras azules, every time you get words in blue, that means there is an audio snippet, an audio file that will pronounce those words so that you can do that. You can listen to the word as you read it. So you'll have to pay attention to in your book when they tell you, oh, CD1, track 6, you know, track 6 will be the audio file number 6 that will play what those words sound like. Okay, and I do want to kind of show you where that is located, because they are, I don't know, phasing something out, doing something which is funky and weird. But you can get into the CD. Most people do not have a means to play the CD disc itself. Most people do not have CD discs. Yikes. Was everybody able to download the audio first? I do want to ask that. See?
See.
Okay. Okay. If for some reason you cannot get into that and download the CDs, just email me separately. I have separate audio files. It will look cumbersome because there'll be a series of links, you know. So CD1 will have like 30 links, and I'd send you what you need for that chapter. So Padmini, if we go to chapter 2 audio, I'll send you what those links are so that you've got that. But anyway, okay.
Marilyn,
sí.
quick question.
Sí, sí.
The other book that you held up, that's different from this one, right?
Oh,
and
sí,
so,
sí.
Okay.
Yes. This is a book I use for my, well, we don't use it strictly anymore. It is a good reference book if you want to learn a lot of Spanish and you know that this is going to be a first class and that you're going to study on your own or with me or with anybody else for that matter. This gives you a lot of information, more than we could cover in our set of classes. Even this book has a lot more than we're going to get through in this short time between now and Christmas. because, you know, actually this has a bunch of chapters and there will be a few we don't get to, but if you continue to study on, there will be things I can assign beyond what we do in this course out of this book. But this is the one we are using. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Hoy, ¿qué vamos a hacer hoy? Today, what I want to do is to go over some things about basic greetings, how you greet people. Okay. Keywords that are important to know when you greet people just in your day. And, you know, these are not going to be, in many cases, really long, complete sentences. They're just going to be things you normally say to people as you greet them on the street or as you greet them in the store. We're going to get into a little bit of the mystery of why there are many ways to say you in Spanish. And we're going to talk a little bit about pronunciación. Well, we're going to talk quite a lot about pronunciación. I'm going to put on my share screen. Y aquí, vamos. This page here, which you see on the share screen, which I had sent to you in a link, this is what you want to have handy. So I'll give you a couple minutes. If you printed this out, I'll give you a couple minutes to find, where did I put that paper? That's usually me with my life. If you saved it and you want to pull it up as a second screen, to, you know, put two screens, one Zoom, one of this, that is great. Give you some time to get organized and pull that up, because we're going to talk about this very, very soon. And here's why we're going to talk about this page pretty soon. The first two pages, yes, the first two pages go through the vowels. And the vowels in Spanish are the most important thing to get right. If you get the vowels right in Spanish, you have now conquered about 70% of the game of how to speak Spanish, how to pronounce things correctly. Okay. I do want to cover what the vowel sounds all are and have you practice those with me today, because the vowels are the most crucial thing to get right. Why is that hard? Well, it isn't. It isn't hard to do right, because all vowels in Spanish get this, each letter gets this many sounds. In English, the letter A, right? Vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, okay? A, E, I, O, U, those are vowels. And the vowel sounds in Spanish, compared to English, in Spanish, they're super easy. The letter A makes one sound. The letter E makes one sound. The letter I makes one sound, and you can go, that is it. Game over. In English, the letter A gets how many sounds? It can sound like A, and other things. But in Spanish, A will only make one sound. All those vowels will make this, that's it. So if you consistently say only that sound, what you see is what you say. That is the way it works, okay? So here are the vowels. I'm just going to introduce what they are. When you see them written out, they will make only one sound. They'll be A, the letter A, A. The letter E is called E, and that letter will make only one sound. E. A, E. A, E. The letter I has the name E, and it makes that sound, E. So we've got A, E, E. And notice what my mouth does. I'm going to say those again. Watch what my mouth does when I say those vowels. A, E, E. Okay. If you look in the mirror when you say those sounds, make sure your mouth looks like that. A, E, E. It makes a difference, okay? Let's look at the last set of vowels. O, O. O makes only that sound. O. It's like a letter O, but it's not like we say O. We're going. O. It's shorter. O. O. Okay. O. And then the letter U. O. O. I need to close my mouth, my lips around that. O. Once in a while, the O will go silent. Very infrequently. Once in a while, you'll see an O that doesn't get pronounced, but most of the time it gets that sound. O. 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 Okay, we're going to go through just the vowels first before we start our greetings. I want you to like, repitan por favor.
Ah.
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 Repitan por favor. E. Whenever you see that letter, that's a sound it makes. E. Okay. Repitan por favor. I. I. Okay. Vale. Perfecto. Perfecto. Okay. Repitan por favor. O. O. Bien, bien. Repitan por favor. U. Perfecto. Okay. Bien. Vale. So I just want you to know those vowels because you're going to see a lot of those vowels. A lot of the other letters are going to sound like you think they do in English. Some of them won't. That great big long page is going to cover some of the, it won't sound like this. Here's what we do instead. Okay. But if you got those vowels conquered, you've got 70% of the game covered. Game. Okay. If you did not listen to this 19 minutes, I know I'm not playing this during class. If you did not listen to this 19-minute video, I will send the link in the email after class. Do please listen to it. She really covers everything perfectly with pronunciation, all the letters, okay? And the vowels are the most crucial for you today as a beginner learner. So I will send you that link again. After class is over, I always send a follow-up email and it will have all the links for every video we used, every file we used, what pages in the book you should be covering, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Primero, vamos a practicar un poquito con, vamos a practicar con saludos. We're going to practice with some greetings first, and then we're going to do some pronunciation later. Okay, vale, magnífico. Es muy fácil, es muy fácil. Voy a engrandecer. You do not need to take copious notes because I will send you the file, and you can put this on your computer and save it forever and ever. Or say, oh, this crazy woman, I only want to look at this week. ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice en español? How do you say in Spanish? This first phrase up here is a question. And you'll notice there's a funny thing when you see it written out. Questions in Spanish, when they're written out, will have an upside down question mark and then a right side up question mark. That's what they do. And they do that because it's a little flag, that first question mark. It says, here's a sentence and it's going to be a question. You don't have to wait till you read to the end. But ¿cómo se dice means how does one say? ¿Cómo se dice? I want you to all know how to say ¿cómo se dice? Because when you don't know a word, and you walk up to somebody and you say, how do you say watch? ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice watch? ¿Cómo se dice? Repitan, por favor. ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice?
¿Cómo se dice?
When you want to know a word, you ask somebody, ¿cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice? That sounds like a question, what I did with my voice, right? ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se dice en español? And notice when I ask this question, all those vowels are only going to make one sound depending on the letter, right? ¿Cómo se dice en español? How do you say it in Spanish? Okay, vale. Saludos y despedidos. Saludos are greetings. Despedidos are what you say when you say goodbye. What to say when you're meeting somebody, what to say when you're going away from somebody, because those are the things we do when we're coming and going in stores, coming and going on the street, coming and going off of a bus, coming and going in a taxi, coming and going in the airport. Okay. First impressions matter. Okay. Fácil. Greeting anybody. Time of day matters. We say good morning, or good day, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good night. Or if you go to Australia, it might be good day, good day, good day, yeah? So English does different things in different countries. Well, Spanish will do different things in different countries too, but these are very, very basic things in all countries. People will understand you. And one thing I want you to see is that whenever you see a letter H by itself in Spanish, the H does not make a sound at all. It is the one truly, consistently, I'm always silent letter. CH sounds like CH, but H gets no pronunciation whatsoever. So when you see the word hi, when you say it, it will be hola, hola. Repitan, hola,
Hola.
hola, muy normal.
Hola.
Oh, hola.
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 But never, never, hola, never that. Always hola, hola.
Hola.
Safe word, hola, hola. Now, everything else is driven by the sun. From morning, when the sun comes up, until noon, we say buenos dias, buenos dias. So we're going to
Buenos.
pronounce this. Every letter gets pronounced. Bueno, so it's going to sound like U-E, U-E, buenos,
Buenos.
buenos dias,
Yes.
Buenos.
buenos dias, buenos dias, buenos dias. Good morning, good day. You say that until noon. Noon signals the passing of the day. From noon until the sun goes down. Ooh, so that will change depending on the season. This will be from noon until 7 o'clock. Noon until 7:30. Right now, because the sun is going down faster, it might be noon till 6 o'clock. When the sun is set, that signals the end of this. Good afternoon lasts until the sun is down. So we say not buenos anymore, but buenas. Buenas. Buenas tardes.
Buenas.
Sí. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Project.
Literally, you're saying good afternoons. Well, that's what they do. Buenos días, buenas tardes. When you say buenas tardes to somebody, they may come back at you, respond with just buenas. They may shorten it. And that won't mean they're being with you. It's just a shorty way of responding to people. Buenos días. Muy buenos. Very good. Muy buenos. Muy is very. Muy buenos. Or just buenos. Okay. Buenas tardes. Okay. Once the sun has set, we can say good evening or good night, which is the same expression. It is buenas noches.
Noches.
Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. So I want you to all try the 3 times of day with me, the 3 greetings. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Yes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Okay. And you're going to notice there are no silent vowels in Spanish. We pronounce every letter we see. In general, once in a blue moon, you'll get a U that it doesn't get pronounced, but every other time we'll pronounce, you see the letter, you say that letter. Okay, yeah?
Mhm.
Okay, let's move on a little bit. A normal thing to do with our greetings and our farewells is asking, how are you? How are you is a normal thing. Do you really want to know if they're suffering from chronic arthritis? Of course not. You know, how are you? Yeah, and you always answer, I'm fine, right? Yeah, usually we answer, I'm fine. I know, even if we're not, but ooh, now what's going to happen right away is that the way you greet somebody and say, how are you? You have to know which you to use. Uh-oh. So here are different ways of incorporating the you. And I want you to notice this because these are going to be very, very teeny tiny changes. They are slight, but they matter. Okay, here's what happens in Spanish. There are this many ways to say you. Oh, that is sad and that hurts. Because in English, what do we say? You. And that's it. Okay, used to be different many hundreds of years ago. But in Spanish, we've got one you for people you know really well, the familiar you. Okay, and the familiar you is called tú, T-U, tú. We use tú to talk to people we know on a first name basis. If you call that person by their first name, you use tú with them. Okay? That's pretty easy. We use tú in general with family members. Makes sense, first name basis. We use tú to people you call by a first name. Oh, probably your next door neighbor, the people you work with every single day, probably. We use tú with little kids to talk to little kids, even if you don't know the little kid's name. Little kids are addressed as tú. Okay, it is the familiar you. The second you is usted. Usted. Usted is the formal you. Usted is the you we use when you don't know somebody on a first name basis, when you normally would call them by their last name. It is the respectful you. So if you're just talking to somebody you don't know at all, the way to be safe to ask how are you is to use the formal you form, the formal you. Tú, usted, there is a plural you. And that is, we take the word usted and we make it ustedes, more than one. Kind of like saying you guys. Or my childhood friend who grew up in the coal country of Pennsylvania. Hey, yous guys. Hey, yous guys. What? Where did you grow up? Okay, yeah. But you, or maybe you guys, or if you're down south, y'all. Although I think they might use y'all even for one person. I don't know. Anyway, because I didn't grow up down south, but y'all. Yeah, y'all. Okay. So, ustedes. And now, wait a minute. I got one you left. That you, I will tell you what it is, but we will not use it actively. It is a you that is used only in Spain. It is called vosotros. It is ustedes. It is a plural you, but it is a chummy buddy you. Okay. So now this ugly thing of the different yous is going to raise its head. Here we go. The way to ask how are you politely is the first thing you see in this chart. ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Cómo está
¿Cómo está
usted?
usted?
Yeah, we're going to break down. ¿Cómo
¿Cómo está usted?
está usted?
Usted.
¿Cómo está usted? How are you?
¿Cómo está usted?
But if you're two 20-year-old, some 20-somethings do not use usted, even if they don't know each other. You're a teenager, 22, 23 in college, they don't use usted with each other. Why? They're young. They don't care. All right. They'll use the familiar form. ¿Cómo estás? And look at what happened. Instead of ¿cómo está usted, we put an S on the end of está. And it becomes automatically the familiar form. ¿Cómo estás? Yeah. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Okay. I'm going to give you a little cue. If I walked up to 2 people or 3 people, I'm giving a tour to, turistas, tourists. And I got 4 people in the group. I cannot say ¿cómo está? And I cannot say ¿cómo estás? Because I got 4 people, 5 people. I have to, instead of that ¿cómo estás with an S at the end, I have to make it an N, a letter N. ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo están? So when I greet you next time, next week, I will, because I'm looking at a bunch of you, it will only sound right to me to say ¿cómo están? How are you guys? ¿Cómo están? Okay. Repitan, por favor. I want you to repeat with me. ¿Cómo está usted?
¿Cómo
¿Cómo
está
están?
usted?
¿Cómo está usted? But now, if you're talking to people people in your family, it'll go to the familiar. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? We put an S on the end of that. Okay, how are you? And, just as we have many ways to greet people in English, how are you? How are ya? How ya doing? What's up? Sup? I don't do that, but I know people who do. How's it going? How ya doing? Yeah, there are going to be a lot of ways to greet people in Spanish. So we're going to look at another way to ask, how are you? And this literally is going to say, how's it going for you? How's it going? Okay. Instead of ¿cómo está? It'll be ¿cómo le va? ¿Cómo le va? ¿Cómo le va? ¿Cómo le va? And that le is a formal signal. How's it going? The va part is the going part. ¿Cómo le va? How's it going for you? How are things going? We say in English, how are things going? Things have nothing to do with it, yeah? But that's the way we say it. How are things going? ¿Cómo le va? ¿Cómo le va? If I was talking to that tourist group of 5 people, that le will get an S at the end of it. ¿Cómo les va? How's it going for you guys? ¿Cómo les va? Okay. But if I'm talking to my buddy, my friend, the guy who sits next to me at work that I see every single day, or if I'm talking to my kids, or if I'm talking to my brother or my sister, then it's going to be a familiar. We won't use the word le, we'll use the word te. ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo te va? Repitan, ¿cómo
¿Cómo
te
te
va?
va?
Te va.
¿Cómo te va?
¿Cómo te
¿Cómo
va?
te va? And I
¿Cómo
want
te
you to
va?
notice when you see that word va, or you hear that word va, it's going to really sound like a B, a very soft B as in boy, B, big. They do not pronounce the letter V like a
¿Cómo te va?
V, V.
¿Cómo
Como
te
va? No, 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 no.
¿Cómo te va?
That V will sound like be, like that. ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo le va? It will not, that is not, ooh, I'm not hearing a V. No, you're not, because they don't pronounce this letter like V. There is no tooth action on the lip with that. It's a a very soft V. Not como le va, como le va, como le va. It'll be that soft. Como le va?
¿Cómo le va?
Como te va?
Te va.
¿Cómo le va?
Yeah, your ear is not playing tricks on you. It does sound really soft. Wow, I hardly even hear that. Yeah, okay. There are many variations of how you doing. Here is a less, below that, here is a less formal way of asking, how you doing? How's it going? ¿Qué tal?
¿Qué
¿Qué
tal?
tal? ¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal is less formal than como le va, but it is still appropriate to use, for example, with your boss. Okay, so with your boss, you could ask, ¿Cómo está usted? Really formal. ¿Cómo le va? So good. ¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal?
How's it? Yeah. How are things? How are things? And it's still okay to use that in a formal setting. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Here is a greeting that we only really use with people we know really well. But if you go to Mexico, you will hear this a lot. ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué onda literally means what wave? That makes no sense. But two people who are 25 talking to each other will normally say to each other, never, well, I'm not going to say never. They're very likely to say to each other, ¿Qué onda? How's it going? What's up? What? ¿Qué onda is the what's up. ¿Qué onda you do not use with your boss. It is too familiar. It is too slang. It is too chummy. It is too familiar. ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué onda? But these are ways of saying, hey, how are you? ¿Qué onda? Okay, bien. ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo le va? ¿Cómo te va? ¿Qué tal? Right? ¿Qué onda? As a tourist, you're not likely to use, but you'll hear people saying it to each other. Okay, bien. All right. Okay, so which you makes sense. You always have to be thinking when you address people as you, as to who is my audience. Because which you is important with all those greetings you saw in the previous slide, right? You might sound rude or just gringo, but rude if you don't use the right you. We're not used to that. So, okay. If you would call a person by their first name, or another kid, or a family, or family member, or a friend that you talk to them with their first name, you can use tú or any greeting that relates to tú. Okay, tú. But if you would only address that person by their last name, or they're an older person, or they're a person in an authority position, like your boss, or a teacher, or a customer, you're on a customer, you're talking to somebody who's waiting on you, or they're waiting on you, they'll address you as usted. And this word is usted. Usted. I want everybody to practice this word for you, usted.
Usted.
And that D at the end sounds like a TH. Usted.
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 Usted is generally abbreviated in writing as UD period. That is one of the very few, because they're not many, one of the few abbreviations used in Spanish. And they abbreviate it to just make it shorter. But it is always, if you see UD written out, you cannot pronounce it as ud. It must be pronounced as a whole word. Usted. Usted. Okay? Tú, usted. Tú, usted. Okay? If you're talking to a group, it will be ustedes. Usted with an ES at the end is the you guys. In Spain, they use another you guys, but you will never hear it in Latin America, ever, 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 because they don't like it and they don't use it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. If you're talking to more than one person, You do use ustedes, and now you see how that's spelled out. And you don't need to write it down. I'll send you this whole file. And you can print it out or save it on your computer. Ustedes. And ustedes will be abbreviated as UDS, period. But we don't pronounce it as uds. We pronounce it as ustedes, the whole word. Okay, just so you know, para que sepan, just so you know. Okay, technically, there is a less formal you guys, plural, you term, and it is vosotros. Wow, what a mouthful that is, vosotros. Vosotros is the plural of tú. Ustedes is the plural of usted. But in Latin America and in Mexico and in Central America, they only use ustedes to say you guys. Only that. If you go to Spain, and only if you go to Spain, people will use the plural of tú. They will use this word ustedes, or I'm sorry, vosotros, vosotros. Okay. It is only used in Spain, never any place else in Latin America, no place on this side of the pond, as they say. So if you're if you're in Mexico, Sudamerica, Costa Rica, not Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, Colombia, you'll use ustedes, never vosotros, okay? But if you're in Madrid and you walk into the bar for, wow, this is wow. Into the bar. We had the bar in my student setting when I was a student. You walk in the morning to have your cup of coffee. ¿Cómo estáis? How are you guys? And you have to use the different verb form, and you address everybody because they're all your buds, they're all your friends, as vosotros. But we won't do that in this class, but just so you know it is there. Okay, let's move on to courtesy words. Courtesy words. Because polite is a thing. And I am sad to tell you, although it is very much a stereotype, and stereotypes are never, well, they're seldom good, but they happen, right? The stereotype of Americans when we go to other countries is that we are loud. We are loud. We are rude. We are not super the politest nationality. That is the reputation we often have. It is painful, but it is what happens. So okay. Learn polite words and they will never think you're rude. Courtesy is a big deal in other countries. That's why knowing which you to use is important when you learn to speak Spanish, because, and if in doubt, err on the side of being polite. If in doubt, use the usted form of addressing, because the worst thing that can happen is people say, tú. We can talk to each other using tú. And then they're inviting you to be on a familiar term basis with them, okay? So erring on the side of politeness is always good, but polite words, let's look at polite words. Por favor. And you're seeing your vowels. Por favor. Literally for a favor, but that's the way they say please. Por favor. Use por favor liberally. Think of it as sugar. Put sugar on everything. Por favor, a lot. When you talk to people, they'll think you're great. Okay? Every request you make, follow up with, end that sentence with por favor. And they will think you're the best thing since sliced bread, because Americans don't have the reputation of always doing that. By the way, you will hear people shorten this term, por favor, to this little thing, porfa, porfa. If you hear people saying porfa, they're just using the shorty way of saying please, por favor. But por favor is the full two-word term, okay? The magic other, we want to use this like we're sprinkling sugar on something. Gracias. gracias. And you hear all those vowels, gracias. Okay, gracias. The term you're welcome, and there are more ways to say this, but the simplest way, de nada. De nada. De nada literally means of
nada.
nothing. De nada, de nada. De
De
nada.
nada.
De
De
nada.
nada. You may hear this also as por nada. Por nada. But always with nada, nothing on it. De nada. De nada. Gracias. De nada. Okay, yeah. And now these bottom set of words. This is the excusez-moi, as they use in French, but for Spanish, the Spanish version. These words, whenever, I should put these at the top of the list and put stars, asterisks, like 5 asterisks by these terms. When you walk up to somebody and you need help, yeah, whatever it is, you need to know the time, you need to find an address you have written down, you're lost, you need help. Always, always, always start with this word, disculpe.
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 You know that legal term, someone is culpable? Culpable, meaning they're responsible. It's their fault. They're culpable. That English word culpable is an old Latin thing, and Spanish is based on Latin. Disculpe is what we used to say,
Disculpe.
excuse me. Disculpe.
Disculpe.
And whenever you walk up to somebody and you need help, before you ask for that help, always start with the word disculpe.
Disculpe.
Disculpe is your way of saying, I need your attention, please. And it will make you sound like the most polite person in the whole world. And if you start your request, your please, I'm really screwed, I need help. If you start with disculpe, disculpe, people will automatically think, this person's polite. I will help. Yeah. You just walk up like, hey, I need to find this address. Not gonna cut it. They'll be like, yeah, buddy, get in line. You start with disculpe, they automatically think, oh, you're polite. I'll listen to you. Yeah, disculpe. Yeah, is the excuse me. You need to get their attention. Now, there is an informal, a familiar way to use this word. And it's just changing disculpe to the letter A at the end, disculpa. Okay, so to a little kid, you might say disculpa. But practically speaking, as a tourist, you walk into a store or you just buttonhole somebody on the street because you need to know the time and you think you're running late. Use the formal disculpe. You can't go wrong. Okay? Disculpe. Okay? Another way to say excuse me is this, perdon.
Perdón.
Perdon, which,
Perdón.
wow, sounds a lot like the English word,
Pardon.
pardon me. Yeah. Perdon does literally mean pardon. Yeah, pardon me. Okay, so perdon does mean pardon. And I'm going to add one term on here because actually you hear this a lot. And this is going to sound really weird. Con permiso. Con permiso. Con permiso is another way to say,
With permission.
excuse me. When do you say, excuse me? And we snip off the excuse me sometimes, right? Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me when we're doing what? When we're When do we say that in English? Excuse me. When you're, juggling your way through a line, right? When you need to move in front of somebody, when you walk in front of somebody in the grocery aisle because there's just no other space and you have to get through, right? Con permiso is what you typically use for excuse me when you're moving through a crowded space, or you need to leave the room unexpectedly, yeah, before everybody else, right? So con permiso is not the excuse me when you walk up to somebody and you say, "Ooh, I'm lost, I need this address." But con permiso can be a way of saying excuse me when you're leaving a room. But this is the one you want to use. This is gold, guys. Disculpe, disculpe, disculpe. Estoy perdida. Excuse me, I'm lost. See? Disculpe. Okay? Bien? Disculpe. Okay? Any question on any of these? Or how you say them? No? Nada? Okay, vale. Magnifico, magnifico, disculpe. And let's look at some ways to say goodbye. Ways to say goodbye when you leave. There are different ways to say goodbye, to take your leave of someone, okay? Just plain old adios is okay. Adios, goodbye. We hear that a lot in the Southwest. Adios, adios.
Adios.
And you hear all those vowels. Adios, adios,
Adios.
Adios.
adios, goodbye.
Adios.
But adios to some people feels kind of final, like I'm really going, like forever. So a lot of times when you're leaving, but you're really going to see someone again later on, like you're going to see your coworkers later on, or you're going to see the tour guide again at about 5 o'clock, and it's 3 or whatever. This is another way of saying see you later. Nos vemos. Nos vemos.
Vemos.
No,
No.
nos vemos. Nos vemos. Nos vemos. Nos vemos literally means we will see each other soon, is the implication, okay? But it's a kind of a see you later phrase. Another see you later kind of phrase is hasta luego. This word hasta will come up in a lot of goodbye phrases. Hasta, and we don't pronounce the H. Hasta. Hasta. Hasta means until. Hasta luego, literally until later. Hasta luego. Hasta luego. Bien? Okay. Next, we got another way of when you leave somebody. You may, if you're going to see them tomorrow, choose to say hasta mañana. Hasta mañana. Let's take those as 2 separate words. Hasta
Mañana.
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 And you're going to learn very, very soon this little funny N with a little squiggle over the top. Sounds like nia. Nia. Okay?
Mañana.
Mañana. Mañana. Hasta mañana. Okay?
Mañana.
But if you don't know when you'll see that person again and you want to say goodbye and you don't know if it'll be tomorrow or 5 hours from now, very common for people to say nos vemos. Okay? Those are just some ways of saying goodbye. There are a lot of others. I'll be sending you with a video. Okay. This video is a much longer demo about greetings and ways to take your leave. I will send you this link. It will look like this. Now, I'm going to tell you, they do a super good job. So part of your homework will be to listen to this. And again, we're not going to listen to this whole thing today because it is 12 minutes long. It's long. One caveat, one warning about this video. they're going to have some greetings where they get into great big long phrases. Hello. Oh, are you Mr. Ramirez? My kid's teacher? Yes, I am. Da, 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 da. Too long. You want to, so when they get into the really long phrases, kind of just listen, but don't feel like you must memorize all that stuff. You're listening for the short greetings, the short ways of saying goodbye with this, okay? The long things, filter that out. But the reason this is good is they're going to distinguish which greetings are more what you would use with people your own age that you call by their first name, and which greetings are more appropriate in a formal setting. Familiar, buddy buddy, versus formal, I don't know you from Adam, okay? They do a very good job of distinguishing between familiar and formal and giving you a great variety of things you may hear people say, okay? So I do want you to listen to that, to get familiar with greetings, okay? Because it is quite long and it is worth the effort of going through all of that. And they'll give you many variations because the thing is, when I went through these things with you, you know, there are lots of ways to say how you're doing or how is it going. So, you know, you learn certain things and then you expect to be hearing like something else and somebody throws you a total curveball and they say something you never heard before. And you're like, what just happened? Yeah. So there may be many variations of what you see in the screen. So they, in that video, are going to show you some other variations. Okay. Para que sepan, just so you know. Okay. Vale. Sí. Bien. Todo bien. Okay. ¿Algo de preguntas? Some kind of question? Sí o no? No? Bien. Okay. One other thing I want us to learn is how to introduce ourselves. Me llamo. Me llamo. Me llamo. And that video, they're going to show you some different ways to introduce yourselves. Yourself. Yeah, yourselves. I'm talking more than one of you. Me llamo is one way we typically introduce ourselves, but I'm going to show you some other variations. Bien. Uy.
Senora Marilyn, can I ask you a question?
Sí, 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 claro.
So you're pronouncing me llamo, like
Me
it almost has
llamo.
a J sound to it, whereas
Little
the other videos said, I thought it was more a llamo.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we're going to get into this soon, but yeah, let me show you on a share screen. Okay, because this is a little hump we have to get over. Okay, I'm going to show you all different ways to introduce yourselves, because that's what you're going to do next week when you come in on. Okay. And here's the way we ask somebody. First of all, we're going to tackle this thing. That in Spanish is a separate letter of the alphabet, or it used to be a separate letter. I think now they don't categorize it as that anymore. There is a variation. There is a gradation of what is considered okay to pronounce that letter, but it won't be le. Like, you know, we've got an English call, sell, will. It won't be that L sound of English at all, okay? That you can pronounce just as the y. It can be a very, very teeny tiny and I want to emphasize tiny j, like Dr. Zhivago, but not the j strong, just j, little. That is my personal dialect. Okay. Any gradation between this is a-okay. Plain old y is okay, or my personal thing, j is okay. But what you do not want to do is this j. That is okay, but only if you are in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Okay? Buenos Aires, Argentina, you will hear this as, it will sound like this, guys. Me llamo, and it'll sound like that. Me llamo. You don't want to do that. Do not do the strong zh thing, because that is very, very regional and specific to one region. So when you hear, or when you want to say my name is, it's me llamo. And it can be me llamo or me llamo. I have that little j thing in there. Okay, so me llamo. Me llamo, me llamo. My name is, and then followed by your name, right? Now, you can also introduce yourself as soy. So, me llamo, my name is, that, right? Me llamo Marilyn. I can also say soy. That is the way I am. That soy means I am. Soy Marilyn. Me llamo Marilyn. Soy Marilyn. Or we can introduce ourselves with literally, mi nombre es Marilyn. Mi nombre es Marilyn. Mi nombre es Marilyn is okay. Literally, my name is, and that is direct translation, right? Soy Marilyn. I am, and your name, right? Or me llamo Marilyn. I call myself Marilyn. But of course, in English, we wouldn't say I call myself. We would say my name is. Me llamo with your name. Soy with your name. Or mi nombre es with your name. Okay. Bien. Here is the question you will hear to prompt that answer. ¿Cómo se llama usted? And you may or may not hear, whoops, the word, whoops, I got to get my punctuation in there. I got a different keyboard. ¿Cómo se llama? That's the question. ¿Cómo se, and I'll say it slowly. ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? You may hear it as ¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo se llama usted? But if they're looking right at you, they might drop the word usted completely and just ask, ¿Cómo se llama? What's your name? That's the formal way to ask, what's your name? ¿Cómo se llama? So the answer will be, me llamo Marilyn, or also appropriate, soy Marilyn, or mi nombre es Marilyn. Any of those three responses is fine. They're all correct. They're all appropriate. They're just different ways of answering that question. ¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo se llama usted? When you don't know that person well. But if you're talking to a little kid, or if you're two 20-somethings talking to each other, because they will not be on that formal usted level. They just don't, because they're young and carefree and the wonderful 20-somethings they are. It becomes the familiar way of asking, what's your name? Which is, ¿Cómo te llamas? And notice what happens. It's not llama with the a hanging off the end. It's llamas with an S at the end. like ¿cómo estás? With an S at the end. ¿Cómo te llamas? Bien. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
¿Cómo se llama?
Okay. I want you to repeat that one with me. ¿Cómo
¿Cómo
se
se
llama
llama
usted?
Se
usted?
llama usted.
¿Cómo se llama
Se
usted?
¿Cómo se
¿Cómo se
llama
llama
usted?
usted?
Or ¿cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te
¿Cómo te
llamas?
¿Cómo
llamas?
te llamas?
¿Cómo
Bien.
te llamas?
¿Te
¿Cómo te
llamas?
llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? If in doubt, use just the ya. That's perfectly okay. But there are regional variations in how they pronounce that double L. It might be straight ya, which is okay. Or, you know, my personal little tiny ya, but really tiny. Okay. ¿Cómo te llamas? Okay. ¿Cómo te llamas? Bien. ¿Cómo se llama usted? ¿Cómo te llamas? Both of those. And the response is me llamo with your name, soy with your name, or mi nombre es with your name. So next week, I will go around asking various people what their name. I want you to introduce yourselves. I want you to each introduce yourselves and give a good morning next week. Okay, ¿está bien? We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastico. Bien. Is there anybody who has not read chapter 1 in this book yet? Not yet? Okay. Bien. That's okay. Do make sure you go through chapter 1. Chapter 1 is going to talk about all of these greetings. You're going to learn a little more, which I didn't get to today, but we will do. You will hear it a lot in the video. You know, when you're introduced to someone, ways to say pleased to meet you, right? Pleased to meet you can take many forms. It can be mucho gusto, mucho gusto, mucho gusto,
Mucho gusto.
much pleasure is what that means. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto
Mucho
is
gusto.
common, or more formal is either encantado or encantada, which literally means enchanted, which, wow, does that sound weird? But yeah, if you're a woman and you're delighted to meet somebody, you say encantada, encantada, delighted, delighted, encantada. If you're a man and you're speaking, you would say encantado because you're a man. It's got to be encantado with an O at the end. They'll talk about that in the video. But a response to pleased to meet you that does not need any gender dependency is just mucho gusto. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto.
Pleased to meet you. Okay. So go with until you're comfortable with the idea of gender, which most of you probably are not yet, go with the mucho gusto. But they'll explain it all in this greetings video. They'll explain the whole thing. Okay? And I will say, when you do this, do hit the CC button at the bottom so you can see. Sometimes it kind of interferes, you can take it off, but sometimes it will be helpful. So you may or may not want to use that CC button, but do watch that throughout the week. And this will kind of reinforce this idea of which you to use. So we're going to talk now a little bit before we practice our vowels about which you to use and see if you can tell which you will be appropriate, right? We've got tú, we've got usted, we've got ustedes. And what the heck is vosotros? You only need the top 3 in bold. Okay. We're going to see if you can tell which one is which. And this, I'll send you the file. It tells you why usted is what it is. Usted evolved from a great big formal long thing because you got to remember, Spain goes back to like the Middle Ages. And in the Middle Ages, you were either born to like high class people, or you were born into the nobodies, middle class. No, that didn't exist. So you either worked the land or you were overseeing people who worked the land. And the people who worked the land had to speak to formal you as, oh, your lordship. And that's why usted happened. It evolved from your grace, my lord, that kind of stuff. Usted happened as a formal you because these poor schmucks are just digging in the dirt, making their living. And they had to address the high mucky mucks of the world with a formal you. Yes, that's why that happened. So that's why we've got a formal you. It goes way back to, your lordship kind of stuff. Okay, but for practical purposes, what you need to know is, when do I use, with whom would I use tú versus with whom do I use usted versus with whom do I use ustedes? And this one is easy. Ustedes is you guys.
Plural.
That one's going to be a gimme. Okay. Oh, you're talking to a teacher at university. Do I use tú or usted or
Usted.
Usted.
usted? To be polite. To be polite. Oh, the guy who lives next door. Tú or usted?
Usted.
Tú.
Tú.
Oh, the guy who lives next door.
Tú.
Tú.
You.
Tú.
You're probably on a first name. I mean, I
Unless
have
he's
to-
like an old elderly person or somebody, right?
Oh, qué bueno. También, sí, exacto. Unless he's an older gentleman and you don't call
Or I
him by
don't know
his,
my neighbor that well.
or you just met him. So, depende. It depends, but it's not that confusing, really. Yeah, it depends on what kind of footing you are on. You just moved in to the neighborhood, probably usted. Or he just moved in, probably usted. Yeah. Depende. It depends. So, but for most of us, the guy next door is tú. Yeah. Pero sí, depende. Yes, it does depend. But now I talk to everybody. I see all your faces and I address
Ustedes.
ustedes. Yeah. Ustedes. Ustedes. You guys. Okay. Bien. Vale. Oh, you are getting checked out. ¿Cuál? Are you going to use tú or usted or ustedes? You're talking to this guy who's going to eventually take your money for paying for groceries.
Yeah. Tú.
Usted.
Tú.
Oh, that.
Usted. Yeah, not tú. You know how they wear those little tags? Hi, I'm Doug. But you don't really know Doug. You don't really know Doug because, no. And regardless of the fact that he's got a name tag with his first name on, no, it's usted. Whoever's checking you out and taking your money, it's usted. It's usted. Yeah. Okay. And if they feel that's too formal, they'll tell you and they'll say, tú. They'll signal that to you. They really will. Okay. But generally, usted. And always err on the side of being polite. Okay. Grandma talking with grandkid will be
Tú.
tú, because it's family. And by the way, even in countries, in Colombia, it is common for family to use usted, but it's just what they do in Colombia. It is not necessarily what they do in every country. Generally, and family members go by the thing of, tú. Talking to a group.
Usted.
Ustedes.
Those kids.
Latin America, yeah, even though they're little kids, Latin America, a bunch of little kids, it's ustedes. Okay. Spain, group of little kids, it'll be vosotros. But see, yeah, we're not going to emphasize the vosotros, but just so you know, you guys, ustedes, you guys, ustedes. But one little girl, tú. One little girl, tú. Okay. Little kids expect to be addressed as tú. Bien. Okay. Ooh, business setting. They're talking to this guy. Will they use tú, usted, or ustedes? Usted.
Usted, like, looks like a business meeting or
It
something.
is a business meeting. Always err on the side of politeness. Usted. Probably usted. Job interview. Oh yeah, better be usted. Yeah. Never assume informality in a job interview. How will he talk to these two people?
Ustedes.
Ustedes. ¿Cómo están ustedes? How are you guys? ¿Cómo están ustedes? How are you? Yeah. He's not going to look at these two people and say, hey, ¿qué onda? Oye, ¿qué tal? No. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Yeah, it'll be a more formal set because they're dressed nicely. Yeah, it's a business setting. Okay. Bien. You're talking to this little kid. What's you?
Yeah, tú.
Tú. You would never address a little kid like that. Usted to be like, huh? Who are you talking to? Looking behind her. Who's behind me? Grandma behind me? No. Okay. Oh, you're meeting the Queen of England.
Usted.
Usted.
Usted. Yeah, usted. Because, yeah.
I almost want to use the plural because she's more than one person.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Just so big.
Oh, yeah. That formal. Yeah. We don't do that. We're Americans. We don't. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's just know. Yeah. If you're talking to business colleagues, it's going to kind of depend. Yeah. But really, it's going to be ustedes. Yeah. If you're talking to a whole group, right? You walk up in front of the whole group. Hola. ¿Cómo están ustedes? How are you today? Right? If you're in Spain, really anywhere in Latin America, it'll still be ustedes. But in Spain, if you were talking to a bunch of guys, like you invited everybody to watch a soccer game, it would be vosotros, just so you know where that vosotros word is appropriate. Only in Spain, but in Mexico, all your buds are over, drinking, watching the fútbol, soccer, it'll still be ustedes. Okay? Bien? They don't use that vosotros thing. They don't want to have to conjugate that verb. They don't like vosotros. It's always ustedes, okay? In Latin America. Bien? Okay. ¿Alguna pregunta? Any question about our tú, our usted, our ustedes? Bien? No? No? Okay. Vale. I would like you to pull up your pronunciation page. Ooh, we're gonna wildly and quickly go through some of this together. We're gonna go through just our vowels together. And I'll probably preview a couple things. So, yeah. Okay. We're going to practice isolating these vowel sounds. Son súper importantes. They are really, really important. Súper importantes. So we're going to go through these, and I want you to take yourselves off of mute. Look at the bottom of your screen and make sure you're not on mute. There will be little buttons. So like let your cursor hover and make sure you're not on mute because I want to hear people. Okay. Normally I would send you out into little groups for this, and I may do that next week. But this week I want to hear everybody together. We're going to practice just this sound, and that's the only sound can make. So I'm picking very short words. All these words on the far left, a la izquierda on the left. Yeah. We're going to practice just these words. Okay. And they're short words, just focused on practicing the sound when you read a word that has an in it. Okay. You don't need to memorize them all. I tell you what they mean. That really isn't important. They're just words isolated. And here's what I want you to think too. There are going to be some words like the second word on this list. We have a word in English, right? Sometimes your English speaking brain wants to anglicize the word. Fight that. Fight it. No no a, none of that, only okay. So, bueno, repitan por favor, cama,
Cama.
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 Oh, that could be useful in a hotel setting. Drama.
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 Cama.
And now this, guys, fight your English brain. It is not planta.
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 Planta. Planta.
Planta.
Abra.
Aspra.
Abra.
Abra.
Aspra.
Abra. You just
Abra.
may open the door. Abra la puerta. Abra.
Abra.
Mapa.
Mapa.
It means what
Mapa.
you think. Yay. Oh, these things I've got on right now. Not what you drink out of, but what's you used to see.
Gafas.
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 There's a different
Gafas.
word they use for eyeglasses in some regions. Do I have it called lentes? But just so you know, depending on which region you're in, they may use different words for glasses. Gafas is one. Okay. Ooh, the word for skinny. Flaca.
Placa.
Placa.
Flaca.
Placa.
Placa.
Here's the word for potato. Patata.
Pata.
Patata.
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 And by the way, in Mexico, they prefer the word potato to be papa. Papa.
Papa.
And notice it is papa. But the way you
P-A-P-A-S.
say dad is papa. Papa is a potato, but papa is dad. Never call papa. Ooh, hola papa, hola papa. Hola papa, hi potato. No, yeah. Which syllable you give the emphasis, it matters. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, let's look at the next word. Santa.
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 Or holy. Yeah. Santa Barbara is Saint Barbara. It's also a name of a city in California. Okay. Blanca.
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 Okay.
Blanca.
Blanca.
Somebody
Calma.
looks at you and they think you're a little too worked up. Calma, calma,
Calma.
Calma.
calma, calma.
Calma.
Oh yeah, the mi casa, su casa thing.
Casa.
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 Everybody in the Southwest knows that word, casa. Yeah.
Casa.
And let's look at the word for band, banda.
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 Banda. Yeah,
Banda.
band that plays, but never banda. No, banda.
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 Do you see how your
Banda.
English brain can literally interfere with that word banda?
Banda.
It will mess you up because you have learned from the time you were born till 18 months forming these sounds, and they are so ingrained, your brain desperately wants to say it as banda, but it is banda. So
Banda.
expect your English
Banda.
brain to mess with you. Okay, we're going to look at our sounds. Always never e, always okay. We're going to look at the word for hair, pelo.
Pero.
Pelo.
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 Oh, no such thing as a silent E, ever. So this is pronounced cable.
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 Cable is what you think. Cable.
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 Okay. Next is the word for center. It also means a downtown area. Centro.
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 Okay, we're focusing on that
Centro.
sound. Here's the word. It
Este.
might mean east. It also means this. It depends on the context. Este.
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 Actually, you hear this word a lot. This is a pause word also, oddly. You know when we say let me think about that. This is what you hear come out of people's mouth. Is you ask somebody, ooh, ¿dónde está? Where is this address? They're thinking. Yeah. It's a pause word that means nothing except Yeah, it can be. Okay, let's try the next one. Breve.
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 Breve. Brief. Oh, the word for green.
Verde.
And this B is going to sound like a soft B. Verde.
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 Verde. Okay. Next is the word for cells. Vende.
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 And next we got two E's next to each other. Ooh, that's slightly problematic. We're going to prolong the E sound, just drag it out when I have two E's right next to each other. So this word becomes leer,
Leer.
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 And this word becomes creer,
Creer.
Leer.
Leer.
creer.
Leer.
Creer.
Okay. Next we have a word that means copper, cobre,
Cobre.
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 cobre. Next we have the word for jungle, selva,
Selva.
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 Next we have the word for sale. It's on sale, venta,
Oh, vente.
Venta.
venta.
Enter.
Venta.
And next we have the word for TV, tele,
Tele.
Tele.
tele,
Tele.
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 tele. Shorten, TV. Okay. Let's look at the E sound. This one is really, it causes English speakers a lot of trouble because the letter I in English might be I, it might be I, it might be lots of different sounds, but it is always E, 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 E. You're smiling, E, E. Okay,
E.
always. And now we're going to say the word for I'm free, libre,
Libre.
libre,
Libre.
Libre.
libre. Got the word for gray, gris.
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 It sounds like grease, yeah, gris. Got the word for yes, sí,
Sí.
sí. Sí, with an
Mm.
accent mark, notice, ooh, sí, with an accent mark means yes. Me,
Me.
Ni.
me means my, mi casa, mi amigo, mi carro, my car, okay, me. Oh, somebody who is painting, pinta,
Pinta.
pinta. Ooh, if it's a private place, privado,
Privado.
privado, privado.
Privado.
Let's look at the word for April, abril,
Abril.
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 Now we're going to take a word that is very, very common and very, very long. People use this word a lot though. Simpatico.
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 Simpatico. Simpatico. Oh, you're so nice. Simpatico. Eres, you are. Eres, you are. Eres muy simpático. You're very nice. You compliment someone. Simpático. Okay. This is
Chin
just a
chin.
sounding chin chin. Clink glasses when you're toasting. Yeah, chin chin. Okay. Oh, here's a
Kilo.
measurement word. Kilo.
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 Yeah, you know, kilo. 2.2 pounds. Kilo. Oh, the word for flu. Gripe.
Gripe.
Gripe. Ooh, the word that means ready. And depending on which verb you use it with, it might also mean clever or smart.
Listo.
But listo.
Listo.
Listo is not a list. Listo. If I look at all of you and I put an S on the end of this and I say, listos, I'm asking, are you ready? Listos. Listos. Sí, listos. Listo. And the word for view, vista,
Vista.
Vista.
vista,
Vista.
vista. Yeah. Okay. We're going to take a look at our O and O and O and O are easier for most English speakers than the A, E, A, E sounds. A, E. They only make A, only make E, only make E. This is only going to make O, but it's a little bit easier for most people. Okay, we're going to start on the left-hand side. Gorro.
Gorro.
Gorro. Don't worry about the double
Gorro.
roll R thing yet, but gorro, a knit cap when it's cold. Gorro.
Okay.
Gorra with an A at the end is the kind of a cap that has a bit like a baseball cap. Okay. Gorra is a cap, but it's a cap with a bill on it. Gorro is a knit cap. Globo.
Globo.
Globo is a balloon.
Global.
Can be a globe
Globo.
too. Globo. Oh, the word for to cost. Costar.
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 To say
Corto.
something is short in length, like a short dress or short pants, corto.
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 Un animal, an animal. Lobo.
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 The word for the
Sol.
sun. Sol.
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 Sol. The word for not small in size, but a little bit.
Poco.
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 This word in English, sometimes when you see this on street signs, it is misused. Poco does not mean small or little. It means a little bit, a small amount. Por ejemplo, for example, hablo español un poco. Hablo español un
Hablo.
poco. I speak Spanish a little bit. Okay, it is a small amount. Okay, let's look at some more words. Fondo.
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 Fondo means like down at the bottom of the bag. Okay, let's look. Oh, just our negative word. No.
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 No. No.
Hablo.
Hablo.
No
Hablo.
hablo.
No.
No
hablo.
No hablo. Bien. Okay. Here's the word for fat, but it's a great word because it uses two O's. Gordo.
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 Oddly,
Gordo.
gordo is often used as an affectionate term of grandma talking to a grandkid, which teenage girls begin to hate kind of a lot, but grandma will generally use them. Donde?
Donde.
Where? Donde? Donde?
Donde.
Ooh, the material that is called gold. Oro.
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 Well,
The
Norte.
direction, norte. Norte. You see this a lot where we live, and it does not mean what you think. Tonto.
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 I don't know why this is used in so many words in the Phoenix area, but in Spanish, tonto means duh. Yeah. Tonto. Ay, qué tonto. Tonto. Foolish.
Tonto.
Okay. And the word pronto.
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 Pronto. Soon.
Pronto.
Okay. Somebody says, hasta pronto. See you soon. Yeah. Okay. We're going to look at our ooh sound. Ooh. Never you. Never you, but ooh. Never but always ooh. Azul.
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 Color. Cumbre.
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 Go on to YouTube today and Google Cumbre Vieja, Old Peak. You'll see a volcano. Cumbre.
Cumbre.
Pluma.
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 What you write with. Yeah.
Pluma.
Gusto.
Gusto.
Gusto, you're going to
Gusto.
hear in your video homework. Gusto.
Oh.
Pleasure. We're going to
Fruta.
combine an A and an U. Flauta.
Flauta.
Flauta
Flauta.
is an instrument. Luna.
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 Oh, another direction on the map. Sur.
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 Un animal, little animal. Burro.
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 A verb. Covers.
Cubre.
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 Puro.
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 Sutil.
Sutil.
Bitte.
Bitte.
Cuesta.
Cuesta.
Vuestra.
Cuesta.
Cuesta means
Cuesta.
it costs. It costs. This thing costs. See? Cuesta.
Nube.
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 Nube. Cloud. And another question word, not donde, where, but
Cuando.
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 And we combine the
Cuando.
u and the a. U, a,
Cuando.
u, a, ua, ua.
Cuando.
Cuando. ¿Ok? ¿Bien?
Bien.
Bien? Vale, okay. Tarea, homework. I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to watch your video. I'll give you the link in the email. Okay, and I'll send that email. You'll get it sometime this afternoon. I want you to take a look at the Y, the Y sounds. The ch is going to be a no-brainer. It's like English. The de. And I want you to start to look at these next sound. H, which is always going to be silent. We're going to practice this next week. Ignore this. It is written but never pronounced. Okay. French does the same thing. The J, which will sound like h, and H, but it comes from here. If the best you can manage is an English H, okay for now. You can work on it with time. Okay. That double L, right? What is understandable is anywhere from a y to a j, but not the j. Don't zhuzh it hard, right? Because then people think Argentino, yeah, Argentine, yeah. And look at the ñ, the ñ. Look at those, okay, on this page. So if you didn't pull that in from my link earlier, I will send that in the email. I will send every link you need. I want to make sure you go through chapter 1 in your book and look at chapter 2. It's going to start to talk about people and family. It's going to start to talk about family members. And it's going to start to introduce to you the idea that all nouns, a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. All nouns in Spanish are either masculine or feminine, which is a blows your mind concept in English because it's very obvious mother is feminine and father is masculine, but book is masculine. Oh, shoot. Pen is feminine. Why? Well, because they are. All things, even if they're not a sexed item as we think of it as English, have what we call gender. Okay, so we'll start to introduce that idea to you. And I want you to think a little bit about masculine and feminine and vocabulary, talking about people. We'll start to talk about, we're going to start to talk about naming people, not just saying me llamo, but how to say his name is, her name is, their names are. It's going to be a slight variation of me llamo. It'll be se llama. So we're going to talk about just one human being or maybe groups of human beings. And I'm going to send you another video of how to talk about hijo, son, as hijos, children. Okay, it's going to tell you how to make nouns, a person, a place, or a thing, into plural, more than one form. Bien? Vale? So I'm going to send you, I think, 2 separate videos. And I want you to take a real good look at the first 2 chapters of this book and prepare how to introduce yourself. My name is, and start to learn that vocabulary about la familia from chapter 2, because we're going to start to tinker and play with this next week. And you will be talking about people in your family, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, friends, yeah, stuff like that. Bien, ¿está bien?
Bien.
Vale, magnifico. Okay, so you're going to get the extra video with introductions, and do listen to that. It's kind of long, pero vale la pena. It's worth it. And always feel free to email me during the week as you come across questions. You know, you read through chapter book and you're like, what was that about? Shoot me a quick email and I'll usually be able to answer you within 24 hours. Okay, bien?
Thank you.
Vale.
Bien.
Muchas
Okay.
gracias.
De nada, de nada. Okay,
Gracias.
so come prepared to talk a little about
Gracias.
yourself. See, know that family vocabulary so that when I put together the extra little things, you'll be able to join in and talk about mi hijo, my son, or mi hermana, my sister, or, you know, somebody, mi tío, my uncle, somebody in your family. Bien?
Bien.
Sí.
¿Vale? Perfecto, perfecto. Excelente. Entonces, nos vemos. Nos vemos. I'll see ya. And it is normal, by the way, especially in Mexico, to say goodbye many times. Adiós. Hasta luego.
Adiós.
Cuídate. Take care. Cuídate.
Thank you.
Cuídense. Take care. Nos vemos. Okay. Because one
Adiós.
goodbye sounds.
Gracias.
Adiós.
Bien. Adiós. Hasta luego.